Welcome back, guys, to CFL Central, CFL content for the fans, by the fans, and we have the Eastern Final. Montreal versus Toronto in the Eastern Final. I am excited for this. I'll be a little bit, not going to lie, I'm more excited for the West Final because yours truly is in the game. I'll be at the game. And wow, this is going to be exciting, though. Montreal, who is being able to overcome some big humps this season, gets themselves with a date in Toronto at BMO Field for a chance to get to that Grey Cup game. You know, Montreal, they were on quite a bit of a losing streak when it came to playoffs. They hadn't won a playoff game in quite a while. They have conquered that, and now they have to conquer the Toronto Argonauts. So we'll see if that's going to happen. So let's get right into this, though. But important things to note is that for Toronto, they are 2-1 this season against the Alouettes. So two wins for the Argonauts, one for the Alouettes. However, you know, it's really interesting whenever I give stats like that about these sorts of things, because some of those later games, some of those games that, you know, come a lot later in the season is one of the games where, you know, the starters were pulled out, and obviously all the starters that can be and will be in this next game come this weekend. So it's kind of really, really difficult, unless it's really a sweep all the way through, where a team goes 3 or 4-0 against their opponent. It's really hard to say that one has a definitive advantage over the other with those circumstances. But there's a lot of talent on both sides here. Trevor Harris, I will say, the big upside for Trevor Harris over Bethel Thompson, despite him being 600 yards shorter than Bethel Thompson, Trevor Harris has had the consistency that Bethel Thompson hasn't. Bethel Thompson has had some fantastic games. He's also had some games that were utterly abysmal. So, now, keep in mind, those were closer to the start of the season, but a little bit of that sprinkled in near the end of the season as well. Trevor Harris has been consistent all the way through, and, you know, he wasn't last season. That's why Edmonton dealt him away in favor of now moving forward with Taylor Cornelius. But Trevor Harris has brought that consistency back into his game. He's brought that back with the Montreal Alouettes to a team that really did nothing this offseason, as they had trust in their guys, in their system. And I'm not going to lie, I was really, before the season started, I was doubting the Alouettes because of that. But the Alouettes have shown that their trust that they placed in their players and in the systems they had was, you know, that was the right decision for them to do that, and to not really go haywire and try to start signing guys all over the place, and just making sure that they kept their core guys together. And this will be really interesting to see how this fares up with Toronto, who was a very, very different aspect, where they were thinking of bringing in these big name players, bringing in dollars, bringing in fans, and, you know, bringing in talent to see if they can make that next step into that Grey Cup game, as they failed to do so last year against Hamilton, despite having the East Final in Toronto. So, interesting side of things. If we're looking at talent on each side, we can't not talk about Gino Lewis. Gino Lewis has been fantastic with the Montreal Alouettes, and it will be really, really exciting to see how he does. The interesting thing I will always say that I feel like isn't talked about enough as well is how special teams does in really, really stressful games. Because that has an effect. I mean, if we're looking at, you know, Calgary in the playoffs last year against Saskatchewan, Rene Paredes, man, he cracked under pressure. Man had been unbelievable. Best kicker entire CFL in the 2021 season. No question he wasn't. But he missed a few pretty easy kicks in playoffs in Saskatchewan, because especially kickers, the pressure gets to you. So I'm really curious to see how all these players play under pressure. Toronto had a bit of problems with that last year. I don't know if they're going to be able to overcome that against the Alouettes this season. The Montreal Alouettes have been hot. They have done really, really well. They had a nice win, 28-17 over the Ticats last weekend, especially with that the Ticats, some were expecting them to be able to get that done with the Ticats playoff experience, something like I was saying about Montreal. In recent memory, they've kind of lacked that. So Montreal might be really taking that next step, not only getting that win over Hamilton, but getting that real playoff experience, which is getting to the Grey Cup game, which is why my prediction is that the Montreal Alouettes will win this game and go to the Grey Cup to face, to be determined. We will see who that is. I hope it's the Bombers. I think it's the Bombers. But the Lions are, Bombers and Lions, you're talking about the top 2 teams in the league, but we have a whole video on that, so you can check that out. Make sure you haven't, because that video is, it's me chatting with Jake about that, and it's really, really exciting stuff. We get into a lot of really good, important aspects that aren't going to really be aspects of this Eastern final game, even close to or at all. Factors that are exclusive to Winnipeg. So we'll make sure you check that video out for that. If we're looking at the Toronto Argonauts side of things, AJ Ouellette has done well rushing, not bad. Gittins Jr. on the receiving core of things has done well. The receiving core has kind of been all over the place. You have Brandon Banks come in, all these big expectations. Some games he didn't play. And then there was the whole thing with him fighting guys on the bench. It's been a little bit of a mess with him. Andrew Harris being brought in, not being able to do really that much after he gets injured shortly in. Jamal Peters, though, on the defensive side of things, has been great for the Toronto Argonauts, being able to pick off 6 interceptions as a defensive back. So going to be really key that he puts up his A game against this Alouette receiving core. And Jagger Davis on the defensive line has been a really key contributor for the Toronto Argonauts as well, with his 7 sacks of the season, comparable to Montreal's Mike Moore with 6 sacks of the season. So I'll be really, really interested to see who really takes control of this game. Is it the Argonauts? Is it the Alouettes? Or is it the offense of both teams or the defense of both teams? What is going to be the story, the narrative of this game after it is being completed? And we will see whoever it is go to the Grey Cup final. So like I said, my prediction is the Alouettes. This is my new banner, by the way. My new flag. I ordered it simply because if it would be embarrassing if the Alouettes won and I went to do a Grey Cup video and I don't have one. So I'll make sure I get the Stampeders one another time, but as that's now the only banner I don't have, I have every other team besides that. I will make sure I have that, though, sometime, but it was really urgent to get this Alouettes one, just in case they do win the game, as it'll be really, really important for me. I don't know if you guys care, but it is to me, to have that in that Grey Cup game. I'm really nitpicky when it comes to quality with my stuff. Anyways, I'm going off on a tangent. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe if you guys have not already. Share this video around. Make sure if you guys got some CFL fans, share this around. There's a lack of CFL content on YouTube, and I just try my best to provide for you. I love it. And, some of you guys have reached out with very, very heartwarming stuff. I am very, very thankful for that. And I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your day. And just be excited for the CFL football coming up this weekend. Yeah, without further ado, see you guys next time.